Hey, Slocking. Shalom, shalom, shalom. This is Naaman with the Great Millstone Camp here in DC. Back for another video. But first and foremost, call hello Yahweh, Ba'Hashem Yahushua, Ba'Hashem Rakah Radash, and of course, double honors go out to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. I'd like to send out salutations to the fellow Akim that are out there on the highways and byways, week in and week out. Also mentioning the many, many works in the forms of videos that are uploaded and go out over the various social media sites. All right, that serve as edification, or I should say, further edification. All right, primarily for the hopeful elect of our people, but they are there for those who wish to learn and again be edified. All right, but as I always say, we realize that a lot of you still take this as a joke. But at the end of the day, you're going to have to answer and suffer for that. All right, and believe me, you will. All right, so here we have the copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowances made for fair use purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statutes that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Fair use, fair use, fair use. All right. So, as should anybody at this point in time should know, all right, these tiny hats, these pretenders, all right, all that's happening now is a last-ditch effort to preserve the lie, to protect the lie. And that lie being that they are the chosen, that they are the actual Israelites that belong in that land. No, this has been, and I should say, this is the culmination of colonization. This is colonization's last stand, as it were. This is the same thing that's been happening since them folks, all right, starting with, actually a little bit before, but mainly with Cristobal Colon, aka Christopher Columbus. So it's over 500 years now. All right. 534, if I'm not mistaken. All right. So that we've been dealing with this shit, and it's the same thing. It's live and in living color. All right. This is what they've been doing. And if it's up to them, they will continue. But at this point, the world sees through the bullshit. And these people that are pretending to be the chosen, all right, that claim is, of course, being betrayed by their nature, which is being shown to the world. All right. The real Israelites would never be doing something like this. It's against their nature. It's the wrong type of spirit, and people see that. All right. So things are going to get really rough from here on out because they're going to do anything. And this is the part where people, I don't know if they're just stuck on stupid, but somehow they don't believe the people that have done all this shit in the past. All right, they can't connect the dots for some reason. They don't understand that they will stop at nothing to achieve that goal. That goal being what? They want to expand that region and claim, see, Iran stands in the way, and they thought it was going to be a cakewalk. But oh no, 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 no. See, while they were over here, having fun and being pompous asses like they are, I'm talking about the West in general, America in particular, along with those Israelis, because for the last 36 years or so, well, 34 that I know of, Netanyahu has been in that whole regime, all right, have been trying to get people to take out Iran. The sad part of this is, what did Iran do? You, talking about America as the CIA, probably at the behest of those pieces of shit over there, all right, and CIA in its infancy targeted those people simply because Mossadegh wanted to nationalize his oil, his own resource for his people. And that's a common thing, like I said in my last video. It's a common thing with the West, the colonial powers, especially when it has to do with those people they consider beneath them, all right, using their own resources to better themselves. No, we can't have that because they want everyone subservient to them, all right, and none more than these pieces of shit over there in the land of Israel currently. So I'm going to have this video here instead of me babbling. But when we come out with scriptures such as First Maccabees 3:48 and others about, this is the MO of these people. They've lied down throughout history, portraying themselves, all right, not as they truly are, all right, but they've stolen identities and rewrote history to make themselves look good, all right, in the eyes of the world, when really everybody's, and that's in that part is in the another book that they of course deny, and that's the Protocols of the Learned Elders of Zion. Came out in the first part of the last century. So yeah, everybody sees through their bullshit, and they know that, as the scriptures say in Revelation chapter 12, verse 12, it's a warning to the people because these people have lost their grip, their influence, and it's going to come down. It's going to execute great wrath because they knoweth they have but a short time. And this is what's happening right before your eyes. Prophecy. So let's go ahead and roll this. It says, no disrespect to the Ish people. And this is from Flat Earth Antarctica TikTok. Here we go.
No disrespect to the Jewish people. But look, I'm going to just keep it completely real for a second. Bro, we need to just stop walking on eggshells. I'm tired of everybody pretending they don't see it. So look, no disrespect to Jewish people at all, but I genuinely don't understand how you could have the privilege and opportunity of a white person, but act as or more oppressed than a black person. And I'm not saying this to minimize the Holocaust or say that the Holocaust was good, because genocide is bad no matter what. But the difference is you guys got endless amounts of opportunity, reparations, wealth, and success before, during, and after that shit, okay? Other people, such as indigenous and black people, didn't get shit after their genocides, massacres, slavery, etc. So don't do that shit, okay? Because it's not the same. And I'm not trying to compare or minimize pain, but Middle Easterns go through way more shit than you guys do, especially since the Israeli government is and has been causing 98% of the problems in the Middle East, around the world, for generations, for decades, for centuries. And I'm not making this video to be anti-Semitic or call out or cause hate speech against Jewish people.
No, it's just the facts.
Every time you guys get called out for bullshit, you immediately deflect and try to use that anti-card to protect yourselves and avoid accountability. And it's crazy because Zionists in America and Israel get the benefits of white privileged people, but talk like they black people during slavery.
And again, that is a trick. Let's go over here to Instagram. This is Shulamit Aloni, former education minister of Israel. We, all right, in a 2002 Democracy Now! Interview, former Israeli education minister, all right, Shulamit Aloni said, well, it's a trick. We always use it. When from Europe somebody is criticizing Israel, then we bring up the Holocaust. When in this country people are criticizing Israel, then they are anti-Semitic. The image is a close paraphrase of her remarks. All right, so there you go. We exploit the Holocaust and anti-Semitism to protect Israel from criticism. And this usually has in the past caused people to back off. But people at this point are fed up because they do the history in a large part because of what we do. All right. It's not a, you know, patting yourself on the back, not in pride or cause of ego, but that's scriptural. That's prophecy about them being exposed. All right. When we go to Second Thessalonians, second chapter, it tells you, all right, about the man of sin, the man of lawlessness. That's who we're dealing with. Now we beseech you, brethren, by the coming of our Lord Yahushua HaMashiach, and by our gathering together unto you, all right, that ye be not soon shaken in mind or be troubled, neither by spirit, nor by word, nor by letter, as from us, as that the day of Hamashiach Yahushua is at hand. All right, let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first. And this has to do with the Israelites, and the Israelites only, not you Christians. And that man of sin be revealed. There's no such thing as a spiritual Israelite. All right, the son of perdition. Let me read that again. Except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. All right. And if you, when I say there's no spiritual Israelites, Galatians 3rd chapter and 4th chapter explains that. All right. Who opposeth, verse 4, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called the Most High, or that is worship, so that he as the Most High sitteth in the temple of the Most High, showing himself that he is the Most High. This echoes Isaiah 14th chapter. All right. The 5 eyes. All right. Remember ye not that when I was with you, I told you these things. And now that ye know what withholdeth that he might be revealed in his time, for the mystery of iniquity, all right, doth already work. Only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way. He's being allowed, he was set up to do what he's doing. I'm talking about the self-professed white man whose biblical nationality is Edom. All right. He's had an appointed time to rule, and that time is just about up. All right, and this is why he's acting out now. All right, and then verse 8, shall that wicked be revealed, which is happening, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, being what? By his prophets, as always. All right, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonder. All right. And with all, verse 10, deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. All right. And none more can be an example of that than you Christians. You still stuck in that rut of tradition. And at the end of the day, the fact of the matter is your eyes haven't been opened because you're not wanted. You are exactly where you are supposed to be. Still stuck in that plantation Christianity. Because that's the way ultimately the Most High wanted it. You can't get it. You just can't. Let's continue on.
Fuck is oppressing them now, because it's not the 1930s or 1940s anymore. Who the fuck is oppressing them? And look, I'm not calling out all Jewish people, saying all Jewish people are bad, because that's not fair and that doesn't help any of us move.
Yeah, because all so-called Jewish people are not Edomites. We were scattered through the curses. It tells you that in Deuteronomy 28 and 64. As punishment, we were scattered amongst all the nations, even these pieces of shit. All right, so there are our people amongst them.
Move forward. But there is a real, consistent generational and cultural issue going on here that needs to be addressed. Think about how messed up this is. We're told to look at history a certain way, but when you look at the actual fact, the math doesn't add up. Black people were kidnapped, enslaved, and had their entire identities ripped away for 400 years.
Which fits prophecy. All right, it never said, these Jewish people always say, well, we've known who we were for 6,000 years. That's not prophecy. All right, it tells you here in Jeremiah. Now, let me get it. All right, 17. In this chapter, it's all about the sin of Judah, right? So when we go down here, actually, let's start at the top. The point is in 4. All right, it says, the sin of Judah is written with a pen of iron, and with the point of a diamond, it is graven upon the table of their heart and upon the horn of your altars. All right, can't get away from it. This is what our people have done, and we're suffering. Hence, this is why the curses were put on us. Whilst their children remember their altars and their groves by the green trees upon the high hills. All right, Ezekiel goes into that. All right, trying to be secretive about being in the groves. That's why when you look at your modern day churches, when you go inside, what does the interior looks like when the ceiling comes together at the top? All right, it's reminiscent of being in the groves with the trees. All right, O my mountain in the field, I will give thy substance and all thy treasures to the spoil, which he did, and thy high places for sin throughout all thy borders. And here's the result. And thou even thyself shalt discontinue. He's talking to Jeremiah. Even he, because all of us were punished, all right, as a result. And thou even thyself shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee. And I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not. For ye have kindled a fire in my anger, which shall burn forever. So this is why we didn't know who we were. All right? Because all that was taken from us. Isaiah, in Isaiah 3rd chapter, goes into the things that were taken away from us, all right, as a result of our, breaking the covenant. In fact, let's go to that real quick. Isaiah 3rd chapter, start at the top. It says, judgment on Judah and Jerusalem. For behold, the Lord, the Most High, Yahweh, the Lord of hosts, doth take away from Jerusalem and from Judah the stay and the staff, the whole stay of bread and the whole stay of water, the mighty man and the man of war, the judge and the prophet and the prudent and the ancient, the captain of 50 and the honorable man and the counselor and the cunning artificer and the eloquent orator. And I will give thy children to be their princes, and babes shall rule over them. And the people shall be oppressed, every one by another, and every one by his neighbor. The child shall behave himself proudly against the ancient. Don't you see that? And the base against the honorable. When a man shall take hold of his brother of the house of his father, saying, Thou hast clothing, be thou our ruler, and let this ruin be under thy hand. All right? So, yeah, all those things were taken as punishment. All right? Let's continue.
They got told to just get over it. No checks,
They don't
no
fit these
land,
curses.
no help. Indigenous people had their entire continent stolen and got pushed on the reservations. And the government gave them absolutely nothing. There were so many other genocides and systemic failures like Haiti, Pol Pot. But when the Holocaust happened, the whole Western world stepped in. Billions of dollars in reparations, massive global support, and the power to build serious wealth and influence. You cannot sit there with all that modern power, living with total white privilege in America, and act like you're still the underdog. It's a slap in the face to people who are actually catching hell in the streets.
Exactly.
And the wildest part is the total lack of accountability. The Israeli government is literally dropping bombs, stealing land, and wiping out families in the Middle East, causing massive problems across the world, even since biblical times. But the second anybody stands up and says, hey, what you're doing is completely evil, they immediately pull out the victim card. They call you anti-Semitic to shut you up so they don't have
And I just read to you that that's a ploy of theirs.
You can't use what happened 80 years ago to excuse the fact that you are playing the bully right now. It's a cheap trick to avoid accountability, and people are finally waking up and calling it out. The root of the whole problem is that the people running the world have created a double standard for human pain. They've decided that some trauma matters more than others because it serves their political goals. They let one group use their history as a permanent shield to do whatever the fuck they want, while black, brown, and Middle Eastern people are told to shut up and deal with the ongoing violence and poverty and systemic oppression and the amount of getting fucked over by the government that the system locks them into. The only way we fix this is by stopping the double standards completely. A body in the dirt is a body in the dirt, and a bully is a bully no matter who they are. We have to stop letting people hide behind the past to justify.
There's only one way to stop this.
Present. Everybody needs to be held to the exact same standard and get the same amount of equality and equity. And nobody gets a free pass to oppress others just because their ancestors went through a tragedy. True justice means calling out the bullshit wherever it is, flat out, period. And let's look at how the system...
No. Let's nip this in the bud, because there's not a righteous cell. All right. In this man's, this is Psalms 43. For you that watch my videos, you know this is one of my favorites. When we're talking about Edom. All right. It says, "Judge me, O Most High, and plead my cause against an ungodly nation. O deliver me from the deceitful and unjust man." How are you going to get any type of justice from an individual? Like he was made to be the wicked. Let's go to another one. Psalm 71:4, I believe. Yeah. "Deliver me, oh my God, out of the hand of the wicked, out of the hand of the unrighteous and cruel man." 5, "For thou art my hope." And that's a problem of our people. You don't know who you're praying to. All right. As Yahushua in when he told the woman at the well. All right. You know not. Let's get that real quick and I'll come back to this. All right. All right. Because they actually thought, that they were descendants of Jacob. All right. And let's see. I went too far. Let's see. Here it is. This is John 4:21. It says, Yahushua saith unto her, all right, "Woman, believe me, the hour cometh when ye shall neither in this mountain nor yet at Jerusalem worship the Father." 22, "Ye worship ye know not what. We know what we worship, for salvation is of the Jews." All right. So, or Judeans, because it's, they've hijacked this word. The Jews is you got to understand with the history of that. Basically, yes, that word is really referring to just one of the 12 tribes, being Judah. But during this time period, you only had 3 of the tribes that were in the region that were left, and that was Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. All right. And this is what I always say. It's probably one of the first accounts of the Romans just saying, fuck it, they all look alike. All right. That's just me personally. But yeah, a lot of you are still stuck on that plantation Christianity, and you don't have any idea what you're truly worshiping. All right, back to the video. Finish it out.
This double standard, because this is where the real game is played. I'll give you an example. If a black person talks about the legacy of slavery, or an indigenous person talks about their stolen land, the world tells them to stop complaining, shut the fuck up. move on,
Yep.
and pull themselves up by their bootstraps. It
They
happened
go
so
them
long
damn
ago.
bootstraps, man.
But the second you point your finger at the Zionist establishment or call out the Israeli government's actions, the entire system orchestrates a hit on your life. They try to take your job, cancel your contracts, cancel you, ban your social
That's
media,
proof in of
fuck
itself.
with your bank accounts, destroy your reputation overnight, shit, and other times kill or assassinate you. Or why is it that calling out one specific group can cost you your entire livelihood while the systemic oppression of everybody else is just treated like casual debate? It's because it was never just about a tragedy in the 1940s. It's about protection of power. The elite built a fortress where they get to
Yes.
use their historical scars
Off
as a
of lies,
multi-billion-dollar political
murder,
corporate shield, while the rest of the
rape,
world
and
is
robbery.
left bleeding in real time. If you have the power to silence the world, you aren't the one being oppressed. You're the one holding the microphone. You're the
Simple
one
as that.
controlling the textbooks and the history books. You're the one that controls the narrative. Stop fucking playing. No disrespect to the Jewish people. But look, I'm gonna just keep it completely real for a second. Bro, we need to just stop walking on eggshells. I'm tired of everybody pretending they don't see it. So look, no disrespect to Jewish people at all, but I genuinely don't.
So there you have it. It looped back before I had a chance to stop it, but yeah, people are tired of the bullshit. All right. You have your elected officials here in America, all right, in the grip of a foreign country because they've been compromised. These are your so-called respected leaders. And they've got them however they got them, blackmail, whatever. Or they're just plain stupid. But I'm going with the former. Because this is how these people operate. The Mossad, all that crap. This is what they specialize in. It's like people are saying the last real president was Kennedy, and look what happened to him. All because during the spring and summer of '63, he was going toe to toe with the Israeli prime minister at the time, was David Ben-Gurion, on having inspections over there. This is coming after some years prior, the what was that couple that was accused of spying? Damn it. Oh my goodness, I can't. It just left me. I had it. That's why I brought it up. But in any case, and these are the people that you call your allies, your friends, and they've been fucking you over ever since World War II. And they've gotten away with literally everything. A lot of it without so much as a slap on the wrist. That's not a union born out of friendship. No, this is something more. This is it shows you who has the real power. All right, but it's way too late for you people. Americans talk a lot of shit, but at the end of the day, they've been proven to be, especially with your military here, paper tigers, and the world sees it for what it is. You did all that shit for Ukraine, which, wink wink, for you people that don't know, it's the same people that are over there in the land of Israel. Like, duh. So you put all your eggs in that basket over there, and now these people want you to take out their main op, at least in their eyes, with Iran, and you don't have anything to spare. Wow. So now you're talking about using nukes. We all knew it was coming. See, this is that Jeremiah 49:20 about the least of the flock, drawing them out. This is exactly what's going on. And they're gonna do something stupid because you can't get around prophecy. Now they're talking about um, the power going out nationwide for 18 months. This is all being done on purpose, people. All right, because this whole system has to crash as we know it. And then it's going to be digital currency and everything else. Money that you hold on your hand, that's going to be a thing of the past because they want total control. It's a new form of slavery, worse than anything else before. That's why Daniel 12:1 is there and other scriptures. This is how bad it's going to get. Those people that you call friends going to be right at your throat. All this is prophecy. And if you don't get into these scriptures early, and have the Holy Spirit working with you, of course, but this is the time to repent, not when everything is going down. As we always say, get your mind right. That's at Isaiah 33:6. Get all this in your brain housing group now. All right, so with that, this has been no disrespect to the Jewish people from Flat Earth, Antarctica. All right, it's a nice site. There are other videos there. I encourage you to check it out. All right, so with that, once again, I hope whoever views video has been edified. That's what we do here at Great Millstone. All right, and please remain circumspect out here. All right, keep your eyes and ears open. Because at this point, any and everything could just go to shit. All right. So with that, until the next video, Shalom.